Now, Kevin, it's time to review the last 12 heats of the opening round, and we saw some cracking displays here tonight.
Yeah, we got some money back. A couple of shocks, but definitely some really top quality performances. Even in defeat, Ballydoyle Honey, none more so, getting a lot of trouble, but still managing to put up a decent performance. So a lot to look forward to next week.
Certainly tonight's action, it kicked off in great fashion for the bookmakers. The first 3 or 4 results were very much in your favour. We'll start, of course, with heat 30. That, of course, to leave it done. Good draw on trap 5 if Secreto had missed the kick, which he duly did. The Heathlon Tiger Dog, which came with a bit of reputation after some decent runs here at Shelbourne Park, but he was up in grade tonight, had to be said. And well, once Leave It Dawn got a run at him down the back straight, there was only going to be the one winner. Leave It Dawn, a very, very fast greyhound. He's not always going to get a clear run, but when he does, he's a potent force.
Yeah, exactly. I quite liked the Heathlon Tiger Dog tonight. I fancied him a bit strongly, but I think he just came up with the traps a small bit, maybe a bit of an inexperience cost him. I thought he'd go down the back maybe 5-6 clear. He didn't. He went down the back 2 clear. Leave It Dawn was on his coattails, and if Leave It Dawn is very close to halfway, you know he's going to be a threat coming home, and that turned out to be the case. He's not probably going to turn that close many nights, but if he does, he's going to be a hard dog to keep out of frame. But I did like the Heathlon Tiger Dog. I thought he just came up with the traps a small bit, but Leave It Dawn definitely a duly winner of the opener.
I was going to call Vulturi an old man, but he's hardly that. He's only just gone 3 years of age. He was a finalist last year. I believe that there was a debate in the kennel whether he should even enter him. Tonight he popped out in front. Obviously didn't have the pace to stay there, but ran on well, grabbed second spot, could keep qualifying, and back in third, Secreto. Missed the kick, showed plenty of gears. We're used to seeing that. Unfortunately, we're going to need to see him starting better.
Yeah, he started, I think, one night down in Tralee. I think the night he won the final down there, and I think he started well once here. I think Mossy's just brought the dog along. Generally, when you find a dog that special, you don't want to force the issue with him, and that appears to be the same. He's just letting the dog mature as with racing. From a punting point of view, it's probably not ideal, but from an owner and trainer's point of view, it's exactly what the dog needs. This has come a little bit too fast for him. He has the gears, he has the ability, he just needs more experience. Vulturi, fresh as a daisy, popping out in front, reeling back the ears. If he can start a little bit quicker than he did last year and still have that, possess that kick coming home, I'd love to see him do well. I'd love to see him do well for connections. I think he could surprise a few still.
Indeed. Moving on to the second heat, and this one was very much one for the ladies. Urban Gossip was a decent enough price during the week, but she really did it in style here tonight. She's not normally a noted starter, but once she hit the front before the corner, well, it was a change of her racing style. She was never going to be beaten, although 2 strong running greyhounds in behind her also in Stadarian TJ and Cable Bay, but Urban Gossip was very much the one to take out of this race.
Yeah, definitely a nice winner for Reggie. It's good to see Reggie back up here and getting a winner in the Derby. She ran really, really well. She popped out, didn't know a whole lot about her beforehand, but you'd have to be taken by her performance. The ones you touched on, Cable Bay, we know about Cable Bay, big runs in the Puppy Stake down in Limerick. He'll probably need to start a little bit quicker than he did tonight to continue to progress. A tough heat in the next night, but definitely Reggie Roberts' bitch, she copped most of us off guard. She was a big price during the week and did us a favour tonight.
Reggie, of course, had a bitch favourite in the Derby many, many years ago, an old maid. You might even be too young to remember, but who's to say this bitch can't go a long way?
Well, on that performance, you'd have to fancy her going a couple of more rounds, and if she's in shrewd hands, you know that and I know that, and if she progresses a little bit further, you never know. There's always 1 or 2 surprise packages. Maybe she's one of them.
Talking about surprise packages, Heat 3 here tonight went to Ballymac Ricky, and what a performance. This fellow, a regular around Shelbourne Park and House Cross in his short enough career, ran well in defeat last time out, but that was in graded company. Tonight was a very different affair. He popped out, he was a big price at 12-1, returned, he was bigger during the week, but you have to say there was nothing all too lucky about this success. He just quite simply ran away from in the early stages, and there was a little bit of bumping in behind, but this fellow wasn't stopping. He did 29.87 and won well.
Yeah, he did. He won really, really well. There was a small few quid, I think on course. We didn't see much action for him now, but he definitely ran really, really well. Paradise Maverick did encounter a bit of traffic problems, same for Blue Cafu. I thought Blue Cafu actually ran on better tonight than I thought he would. I thought he just needed to be out and gone, Merchant, but definitely came home stronger than I thought. I think he's sort of come back to form. But Ballymac Ricky, a surprise winner, but one we badly needed for the book as well. As
we're looking at near midnight here, I dare say somewhere in Dublin there's a team having a big party. They're after taking the 16-1, Lennon and Hanlon and the 2 owners. Perhaps they're snuggled up in a snug somewhere having a few pints gone. Job well done, lads.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm happy they can have a point on me because they done us a favour tonight. We needed it after Thursday.
Heat 4, this is where the favourites favourite backers started biting back. Fair Taxes, as expected, he didn't quite get to the corner, but And he does tend to check off that opening corner, but once he entered the back straight close enough, he blew holes in Black Tom into the third bend. He's a really fast greyhound on the bunny, this fellow. A dog that many will fancy to go a long way, although he does have that tendency to check off the corner when dogs are around him, but did it well tonight.
Yeah, and you'd have to be taken by his performance down the back. Black Tom, many people might not know a whole lot about him. I've seen him run in Kilkenny a couple of times. He's a nice dog, Black Tom. He's no slouch, and really Fair Taxes ran away from him down the back straight. He went up to the bend well after slightly missing the break. Fair Taxes. It was unfortunate for Francie to get his two dogs in the one heat, but at least the two of them went through, and he'd be happy enough with that. But Fair Taxes, a lot of people were talking about him coming into the Derby, and they justified it. His back straight pace tonight was very, very impressive, and I think he's a dog that could go a long way.
Indeed, Overcharge followed him through. Kennel Companion, Francie Murray 1-2 Overcharge. Another dog that, well, things go right his way. He has plenty of gears and he could go a few rounds also.
Yeah, I liked Overcharge, to be fair. I thought he might put it up to Fair Taxes, and if you look at his form, like he's been in the first three a lot of times. Overcharge. He's a dog that I can see progressing. I quite like him. I know he's probably the second string for Francie, but I wouldn't rule him out.
Next up, Amazing Dude, one of the hottest favourites of the night. Probably not a too bad a result for you considering his odds. As expected, he shot clear despite moving to the middle of the track in the early yards. He was 6 or 7 lengths clear halfway, wins 2.5, 3 lengths at the finish. He is tying up badly. It's a question of will he get stronger through the competition or will the runs take an effect on him. He's going to be in trouble any night he's led. Like, it's obviously going to take a good one to lead him, but if he does get led one or two nights, well, his derby could end, somewhere in the last 50 yards.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, to be fair. I tipped him up anti-post. He was one of my strong fancies. I thought he'd stay better than he did tonight. No disrespect to the dog, he's a superstar in my age, but I just don't think this is his distance at all. It raised a few eyebrows for me when they went to Dundalk with him over the 400. I thought he would actually stay up to 550 a bit better than he did tonight, and even into the escape he did really look to be struggling. I think it's going to be hard. I think if he goes another 2 or 3 rounds, I think the runs might just catch up on him. People are talking about them catching up with Blitz. I think it might affect Amazing Dude. He's a big dog, he's 82 pounds weight, so I think it might just affect him a little bit more. I was slightly disappointed by him, but needless to say, no one will want to draw him as long as he's in the competition. If he's in the race with you, you're going to have a blister and paste at the third bend, and he could cause a few problems that way. But with regards to actually winning the competition, I thought he had a big chance of winning it. I just think that might be fading now with his fade and style of running as well.
Certainly one or two of those that work by the stopwatch, they would have told you he was doing sensational runs to halfway, but he really is walking home. We move on, the 6th race here tonight, which would have been Heat 18, and this we saw Ballydoyle Honey performing quite an amazing feat to actually grab second, but fair play to the winner, Calzaghe Clampett. This is no slouch. He popped out from trap 5, could across, but got across, more importantly, and led home a 1-2-3 for Graham Holland in 29.62. The time is good, but considering where Ballydoyle Honey at the second bend was, she was 10 lengths back, she'd beaten 2. You do the maths, it was some run.
Yes, it is some run. It's a 1-2-3 for Graham. I think when three of his runners came out to one heat, probably fearing the worst that maybe at least one might go out. It was a sensational run from Honey. However, the concerns that we have are blatantly there. If she's drawn in the middle against them dogs, if she goes up in the middle of the pack, she's going to find traffic problems. Will she be able to run through the field if there's a couple of strong running types in front of her doing 29, 15, 60? It won't be as easy. That's not knocking the bit. She's a superstar. Regardless of what she does in this competition, she's a superstar in everybody's eyes. It just would fear me if she's drawn in the middle. She doesn't have that Farlow Blitz, that Amazing Dude early to clear the big dogs, and a bump off, like we said, Amazing Dude 82 pound weight, poor old Ballydoyle Honey's only 60 pound weight, so you work the maths there and tell me how that's going to happen. But she is a superstar. She'll have a work out to win the Derby for me. I just think one bad turn at the bend might see her go wrong. But Calzaghe Clampett, he beat the Produce Stakes winner down in Clonmel in the early rounds. The clock is there. You'd have to be taken by his performance too.
Indeed, Ballydoyle Honey. We do have the benefit of hindsight. In trap 1 the next night with Keena Girl and trap 2 likely to edge to the middle. It mightn't just be a bad draw. I wouldn't be surprised if she went seriously fast the next night. On so to Heat 19, the 7th race on our card here tonight. And well, you could have thrown a tea-towel over the first 4 home in this contest. It eventually went to Uncle Paul, who'd been running in the Crown Cullen. It was a fine effort by him. Here the disappointment was Claire's Wonder. He's clearly not the dog he once was. Morning Music was the favourite. He ended up qualifying in 3rd, but as I've said, you could have thrown a face cloth or tea-towel over these 4 on the winning line. It was a good race, but the Derby winner's not going to come from this.
Yeah, it's hard to see it. Morning Music, a lot of talk, a lot of hype because of his trial recently, but clearly Jerry Griffin's dog just might not have the early pace to mix it with the best of these. I was sort of sickened here. I didn't have a Boylesports hat or a Hennessy hat on me here. I was screaming for Doubtful Venture, a Greyhound that we had sold to China Ellard, and the boys were all here cheering him on, and he led for so long I thought he'd hold on. They purchased his off as a young dog, and he's just gone on to improve and improve and improve. They'll get a great thrill out of the dog, and I hope he can progress further in the competition. But like you said, all of these went across the line together. First and qualifying was a distance of about a length. So no, the time wasn't bad, but it is hard to see any of them being there semi-final, final night.
Perhaps if you are one of the connections in Morning Music, you're thinking perhaps the better company he's in, the better he will run, because he's a dog that will benefit from a bit of space.
Yeah, and probably a faster, probably like a more spread out field, like you said. Basically, a couple of fast starters in there to stretch out the race, and he'll come through staying on like the stayers do. But to win it, I just don't think he has the early.
Okay, we'll go back 12 months, and Law Hill Blake won the Derby for Paul and Mary Jennings. That time it was Michael O'Donovan, the trainer. This time Pat Guilfoyle has a lively runner for the Jennings. Law Hill Duke, a very impressive, fastest of the night winner, 29.45. It was over from the early stages. Once he got a clear run to the bend, he went second at Ballyback Mondo into the corner, and then it was curtains. He was always going to be too strong for the Produce 6 winner, who himself is not really a stout stayer.
Well, I've got to give a pat in the back to my fellow Boylesports employee, Damien Lonergan. He's been raving about this dog since the get-go. When we were up here at the launch, I tipped him up for on behalf of Damien, doing a little bit of a speech, and he's been very, very keen on this dog a long time. He's probably going to be about a 12 to 1 shot tonight after tonight's run. It was brilliant. He showed that early pace. We know he stays. We know he's from halfway. He won't be stopping in front. Just the consistency at the boxes. If he can keep on doing those runs, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can follow up for connections. They would have been. I was talking to Mary actually coming in on Thursday, and you could see the disappointment in her face about Blake, and in everyone's faces because he wasn't here. But what a thrill if Duke can keep on doing the runs for her. I'd really love to see the connections do well.
Indeed, of course. He's already a fastest dog this year at Shelburne Park for 550 hours, 29.34. Tonight, 29.45. As you say, we already knew he had the engine, but he clearly is in good form, which is a further hope for his Derby chances. Heat 21, and here we saw a certain Mucho Macho Man, or as the lads wanted me to call him, Mucho Macho Man, named after the American superstar equine performer, trained by a father. This fellow was a bit of a plunge. He was one of the better back dogs through the week and tonight, of course.
Yeah, huge support, not on our behalf, just to make that clear, but definitely the draw was there and playing for everybody to see. He had an ideal draw. Just the question was Material Man. His runs in Kilkenny were good, his 2 races up here were poor, and then he does a 28.23 trial. Now, Mucho Macho Man wouldn't do 28.23, that's why he was such a price, but then he had the plum draw and won. He ran really, really well, and my father's very keen on this dog, and he, after the race, speaking with him, like he's coming the right direction, and he thinks he'll improve. He is quite draw dependent. We have the benefit of hindsight. He's drawn at 4 the next night, probably not ideal, but Siderian Vega directly inside him will probably make a bit of room for him. But you'd have to be taken by his performance tonight. He didn't do a thing wrong. He trapped out well. He's got good early pace, and it just goes to prove that his 28.47 a couple of weeks ago here wasn't a fluke. Material Man stayed on strong. Sort of disappointing me, to be honest. I just thought off halfway he'd make more of an impression. He just didn't. Maybe the penny will drop eventually up here. If he can reproduce his Kilkenny form, he's a lot better than that.
Rocky Bay Yank, of course, running well in second spot, but no answer to Mucho Macho Man. Of course, the bookmakers have now seen him coming, and he won't be as big. He might be as big a price in the future, but they certainly be just a little bit more cautious with him.
Yeah, exactly. Draw dependent, but definitely he's a dog that's improving, and if he can keep going the right way, he'll be shorter next week.
Heat 22, and here we saw Barefoot Artist, a quick double for Mr. Hennessy, your papa. Barefoot Artist, he had won his semi-final of the Champions Stakes, looked perhaps badly drawn out in Trap 5. We know he wants further in, but once he got to the front, that was that.
Taking off the Hennessy hat and keeping on the Boylesports hat, I'm going to be honest, I thought he was up in the top 3 of the most impressive dogs of the night for me. Didn't give him a chance out of Trap 5, to be fair. I just couldn't really see him getting across. He's a dead railer. Probably helped by PJ's dog in 4, not trapping Tommy, but I love the determination he showed to get to the bend, and since day one, my dad has been very keen on this dog. He's told me when I went over to England that he was as good a dog as we had going over. And why he'd done in his card, I couldn't see it. Clearly he was working well at home. Things didn't go according to plan with the dog, but he ticked every box for me tonight. If he can get, he's perfectly drawn in 2 the next night, and if he progresses without the Hennessy Hound, I do think he's a live player, to be honest.
29.65. Mentioned Cameron Miller ran a bit of an eye-catching race in second spot. He showed lots of power and pace. Farlow Rumble will certainly come on for the run. His first race here at Shelburne Park, while Tire Tommy, as we know, can do or can perform a lot better than he did. He missed the kick tonight, was a bit flat on landing and lost any chance of victory, but I wouldn't be surprised if the first 4 home in that heat all progressed.
Yeah, definitely. Farlow Rumble, a lot of talk coming into it that dog is in flying form, and poor draw for him in 6, despite having Artist in 5. Everyone's saying it was a good draw. An inside seed in 6 is never a good draw, no matter what's in 5. Tire Tommy's a lot better than what he's been doing, and to be honest, I thought that coming into this competition he was a dog with a massive chance. And Cameron Miller, like you said, only his 7th race tonight. He made up lengths on Barefoot Artist from behind, and definitely those 4 are all 4 nice types.
Heat 23, I'm going to speak with my punting hat on for the flag. It was a slow, painful death for me. I had backed him at 14-1 tonight. Just thought if he recaptured his old form, he'd a chance of leading. Offshore Bound, the favourite. We know he's not a good starter. He depends on coming from well off the pace. I clocked him in his trial, and he was so slow to halfway, and then obviously flew from halfway. But he's the sort of dog you'd have to take on most nights. But for the flag, ran a big race. But Highview Apollo, he was out in trap 6, as you said. It's not easy, or it's never a good draw if you're the outside of 6 runners and you're an inside seed, and that's exactly what this fellow did. He turned second, and he's also one of the fastest dogs over the 550-yard trip here at Shelburne Park. It's not hard to see why. He showed plenty of pace tonight to come from behind to win in 29.72.
Yeah, last year he was the dog I took out of Derby. He was brilliant in the Derby last year. Came in with a handful of races, and he's a credit to Jerry. I think the world of the dog. Even pricing up the race, I had him a bit shorter than the lads, but he's just a dog that I'm very fond of. For the flag, we were only talking in the stands beforehand if this lad could come back to what he was doing last year, that he have a big say, and it was unlucky for you, but you backed him. But he ran a massive race to the last bend, and like the same with Amazing Dude and Farlow Blitz, no one wants to draw for the flag because he has that pace to the 3rd bend to stretch a race out. Offshore Bound, a young dog, similar to Secreto, needs to improve the trapping ability. This will probably come too quick from more experience. Maybe this time next year I might be talking in different terms. But Highview Apollo, delighted to see him win, and with the benefit of hindsight, I don't think Jerry's going to be thanking Frank Kiernan. I think he put him on trap 5 the next night, so he'll have work to do again.
Indeed, probably not a race where we'll see the Derby winner coming from.
Hard to see it, but Highview Apollo, if he gets better draws, he's not a bad dog.
Heat 24, and this was another one of the finest performances of the opening round entirely. Graham Holland capping off a tremendous night for him. Riverside Pat, well, he was the deserving favourite. We knew he was probably the fastest dog in the race, but once he hit the lids, that was going to be that. I suppose those that were opposing him were hoping that when he gets behind, he tends to check in his corners when there's dogs around him. He had an injury early in his career, but tonight, once he hit the lids, nothing was going to catch this fellow. 29.49, nothing wrong with it, but don't expect it every night.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. He was short, he was backed on course. The roar that went up, I think, was the best roar of the night when he came out of boxes. Clearly lots of people were on. He's a dog I wouldn't mind laying, no disrespect to the dog. He's got the ability, but like you said, not every night he's going to try. He'll be hard to break that split through the coming rounds. If he can keep it up, he's as fast as anything in the competition, but he doesn't produce those clocks, them split clocks every single week. If he can, he'll be a big save, but with him, 1 or 2 missed breaks, and that can cost you. That's why you don't mind taking him on. The dog for me to take out of the race, not for the Derby this year, keep him in your notebooks for next year. That Born of Sounds, I was mightily impressed with him. Hadn't seen much of him. He had a few nice runs down in Thurles. He's an October 13 puppy. I don't know the official what the youngest dog in it, but if he's not the youngest, he's up. Jojo's Fantasy is probably the youngest Graham Holland's dog, but I'd say Born of Sounds not far off him. He could be anything. I really like him. I know he's beaten 5 or 6 lengths, but I like the way that dog performed tonight. I think he's a tough draw now again the next night, but Riverside Pat, if you were on him, it was all over after 5 yards. If you can continually do that, he'll be a big set.